We don't hate you. We don't care enough about you to hate you. We just see that you're a fool. You make a fool out of yourself virtually every day. That's why we talk about you. We're laughing at you. We're making a mockery of you. You're making a mockery of yourself. It's not hatred. You really should learn to distinguish between those two different emotions, because you're receiving one in droves, and it's not hatred. You can act, like you're Beyonce all you want. You're not. And just like her, you can play the victim when you're not. But you're gonna have your hands full with people laughing at you because you behave so foolishly. And the fact that you're a diva bitch behind the scenes, so much worse. You're not even beloved by your staff. Like, you alienate everyone. The people who know you best don't like you. The people who are just glancing at what you're putting out there publicly don't like you. So who likes you? It has nothing to do with your skin color either. There was a Republican star named Mia Love, who happened to be a black woman, who rose in the halls of power in Congress. Unfortunately, we lost her last year to cancer. But Mia Love didn't attract this kind of negative attention. So if it were just your skin color, that would have happened to her too. But it didn't. Why did
She's so rotten, she wants migrants picking cotton. We present to you Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who made this shocking argument why America needs immigrants. Roll it, Alfred.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands.
This is when the wheels fall off.
You're not.
You know that feeling when the internet agrees on something so loudly it sounds like a stadium chant? That's today. The collective verdict says, this isn't politics, it's performance art with a congressional pin, and the name at the center of it is Representative Jasmine Crockett. Click confirmed. Yes, this is the segment where Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly tag team a breakdown of Crockett's greatest hits, from the pre-speech hype video to the clips that made even her defenders swallow hard. And before we go,
I'm dying to ask you about Jasmine Crockett.
Oh boy,
She seems like a nightmare.
she's delightful.
What's that like to work against her?
So she serves on oversight committee with me, and she's on my Doge subcommittee.
Great.
Yeah. I'll tell you, one of the funny things was we were having a committee hearing on oversight, and it was really late at night. And I was really irritated because I'm always like, why can't we work normal work hours like regular people, 8 to 5? I don't know what's wrong with Congress that we're always doing crazy things at 9, 10, 11, 2 a.m. under Nancy Pelosi. So we're on the oversight committee, and she is running off her mouth, and I shot at her about her massively huge fake eyelashes.
Yeah, this made news.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I said something along the lines of like, well, you can't read it because of your fake eyelashes, because she had all the information in front of her, and she's like, we don't even know what's going on, and da-da-da. And, oh my gosh, total explosion. But she
insulted you too. She said something about a butch body.
Yeah.
She's nasty too.
go any further. Let's put the headline on the table in plain English. Gutfeld and Kelly just argued that Crockett's brand is less about governing and more about trending, and they used her own words to make the case. Now keep listening, because in the next few minutes we're going to crack open 3 scenes you've already half seen on your feed, compare expectations with reality, and ask a question that stings. When the cameras switch off, what exactly is left? Here's why this matters right now. The stakes aren't just Crockett's reputation. It's what her eyes says about the incentive system we've built.
Jasmine Crockett's got another hot take. No blacks and whites on a wedding cake. The Democrats' new chosen one, Jasmine Crockett, is in the news again for an old clip where she attacked Florida Rep. Byron Donalds for marrying a white woman. Roll it, Bertha.
The fact that you sitting around talking about life was better under Jim Crow, is this because you don't understand history, or literally it's because you married a white woman and so you think that whitewashed you?
That's not very woke, is it?
Around politics. If applause can replace outcomes, and virality can stand in for votes passed, then the loudest mic wins even when the math loses. I've studied this game long enough to know the pattern. A viral moment lands, supporters rush in, critics sharpen knives, and the substance in the middle quietly disappears.
This woman I've had about enough of her. She wants to be like a member of the squad. She thinks of herself like an AOC. She talks like, she's from the hood. Meanwhile, she grew up in a nice family. She didn't talk like this 3 years ago. 3 years ago, she sounded like you and I sound in this conversation. Like, I'm really excited to be going to Congress. I can't wait to get started on my new job. And now she's like, we need to smack him in the head, bitch. Like, what do you, we have videotape. Why are you talking like that? No one believes this bullshit. And now she's graduated to acting like a thug. So congratulations. Your term in the U.S. Congress is going really well. Swimming.
That's the risk. That's the cost. And that's why Gutfeld and Kelly's breakdown isn't just a roast. It's a referendum on the influencerization of public office. Quick roadmap. First, the cool girl rollout before a major night in Washington. The clip designed to say, I'm a movement. And the reaction that said, I'm secondhand.
That's what she does. She puts out this video of her acting in a certain way, and that's how she fundraises.
Mm-hmm. We actually did a bit of a deep dive on her after my old colleague from Fox News, Todd Starnes, posted something on X not long ago, Walter. He posted the following. Jasmine Crockett wants you to think she's from the hood, that she grew up on the streets. The exact opposite is true. She attended an exclusive day school where tuition is nearly $35,000 a year. She also attended Rhodes College, a private school where tuition is nearly $55,000 a year. She's cosplaying a gangsta. So we looked up her background. She was born in St. Louis. She's 43. Her dad was a Baptist pastor and a teacher. Her mother worked in a post office. She graduated from Mary Institute and St. Louis Country Day School, one of the most expensive private schools in the city. Indeed, the current tuition, $35,000.
Embarrassed. Second, the Byron Donalds flashback, when Crockett tied his interracial marriage to his politics and found herself in a collision between identity rhetoric and basic respect. Third, the moment that detonated the room. Crockett mocking Texas Governor Greg Abbott with a nickname that points straight at his disability, then the cleanup that somehow made it worse. Along the way, we'll circle back to the talk of throwing hands at senators, the human rights campaign dinner optics, the accent questions, the background check claims, and the universal law of viral fame. What gets you clicks isn't what gets your district results. Keep those in your pocket. We're coming back to each one. Let's walk into scene one like a camera gliding down a hallway. Washington.
Speaking of leftist hypocrisy and cluelessness, Jasmine Crockett is a rising star amongst the far left progressives in this country. She's a representative from Houston, Texas, of all places, which makes no sense because she seems to be far too left for Houston, but apparently not because they elected her. It must be like, Orange County in California being like the one outlier in an otherwise uniformly covered, state, like all red with the one blue. All blue with the one red. Okay, so Jasmine Crockett got up at a Los Angeles dinner this past Saturday, and it was hosted by, this is perfect, the Human Rights Campaign.
Washington's gearing up, the country's watching, and Crockett drops a stylized hype video. Part rap cadence, part swagger, all swagger, actually posted ahead of the big address. Expectations, high-gloss charisma that converts into Capitol on the Hill. Reality, a montage that felt like an audition for a show called Real House Members of Capitol Hill. Context set. Now the application. On TV, Gutfeld deadpants, Kelly smirks, and the room does that half-laugh people do when they're not sure if they're watching satire or strategy. The framing is brutal. If the goal of a rollout is to command seriousness, you can't be cringy, because cringe is kryptonite. In a world where authority is a fragile commodity purchased one...
Like this makes me wish my mom made different father choices.
One sober moment at a time. You don't open your serious night by cosplaying a meme. Mini cliffhanger. Remember that because we're going to compare this performance vibe to her later claim that she's the most serious voice in the room. Scene 2 comes out of the archive. An older clip surfaces, Crockett going after Florida's Byron Donalds and taking it somewhere personal. She doesn't just challenge his policies, she drags his interracial marriage into it, suggesting that marrying a white woman means he's whitewashed, as if his family...
So this is funny. Jasmine Crockett sits on the Judiciary Committee, and about a month ago, Walter, I testified.
Yes,
before
we saw this.
Yeah, and the hearings, the full committee hearings, are quite long. You can be there for over 4 hours. So, and they let the most junior members ask questions last. So I had to sit for quite a long time. And then at the very end, Jasmine Crockett, who I had never heard before, suddenly started screaming at me and Michael Schellenberger. And when you're a witness in Congress, you have to pay attention to what everybody says, because you never know when you're going to be asked an actual question and allowed to, maybe even allowed to speak. But I could not understand what she was saying. She was moving from one thing to another, and she was doing all that code switching stuff with the y'alls and y'all eyeing on this and everything.
Were a political costume. Expectations, a policy clash about history and economics. Reality, a swipe at a spouse and a reductive caricature of identity that left even a partisan crowd blinking. Value loop it. Context. We live in a country where interracial marriage is protected, normalized, and newsflash, nobody's business. Application. The moment you treat a person's partner like evidence in a political trial, you've left the debate floor and stepped onto a gossip set. Framing. If your argument only works when you question someone's family, then your
Car with people of color?
I do.
Yeah.
My box car does not know race, does not know gender. It is a welcome space
That is so
where only
beautiful.
deodorant is not welcome. I like this Jasmine Crockett lady, right?
It's a great name, isn't it, for a villain?
Yeah.
Crockett is the whitest last name you could ever have. I want to throw that out there.
Sonny Crockett, Miami Vice.
Yes.
It's like the whole thing is like, because I've seen her, she's very well spoken, and then she gets on certain programs and lets it. So maybe this whole thing is like a Netflix documentary, like a new spin on Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde.
argument is undercooked. Another open loop. We'll connect this to the later accusation that Crockett confuses attention with respect. Spoiler, those aren't synonyms. Then comes the point Gutfeld and Kelly saved their strongest tone for, and they weren't subtle. A Crockett, on stage at a human rights campaign dinner, the same orbit that polices corporate speech.
Okay, Matt, that was 3 years ago. The ones of her just sounding like a normal person talking. 3 years, it's not like that was 20 years, but then she moved to Mississippi for all that time. That was 3 years ago. She sounded like a totally normal person. It's only now she's got her accent and she's going to kick everybody's ass. It's such an affectation.
For the slightest wrong word, fires off a nickname for Texas Governor Greg Abbott that mocks the fact he uses a wheelchair. Expectations, a night about dignity and rights. Reality, a laugh line that punches down. She later says, no, she meant the buses, the migrant shipments, the wheels of policy, not the chair. But cleanups are like glass. The harder you press, the more it shatters. Context. Ableism is the third rail you do not touch, ever, especially if you claim moral high ground on protecting the vulnerable. Application. The second you treat disability as a punchline, intentional or not, you have handed your critics a megaphone and your allies a headache. Framing. Here's the expectation versus reality at full volume. The movement that says language matters too often gives itself a hall pass when the target wears the wrong jersey. That's not principle. That's convenience. Pattern interrupt. Quick breath. Short lines. Hard truths. You can't preach compassion with barbs. You can't call for unity with mockery. You can't sell seriousness with skits. Now rewind 10 minutes and
Exclusive behind-the-scenes look at Texas Congresswoman and liberal firebrand Jasmine Crockett. The Post spoke with several sources who paint a picture of a Crockett no one in their right or left mind would really want to work for. The Insider said they feel like Crockett cares more about being an influencer than working for her constituents. And as one put it, quote, is laying around her apartment, won't come into the office, and is really just indifferent to staff and will scream at them.
listen to the other thread that Gutfeld pulled. Crockett's claim that to beat certain senators you need to throw hands. That's not a legislative strategy. That's a bar fight. Context. The senator in question is Ted Cruz, a politician who thrives on conflict the way a storm thrives on heat. Application. When you recommend physical confrontation, you're not raising the stakes, you're lowering the floor. Framing. It's the oldest trick in the book. If you can't win with a vote count, try to win with a soundbite. But soundbites are receipts. They don't expire, they don't forgive, and they don't help you build a coalition in a building that runs on arithmetic. Let's add texture, because Kelly did. She didn't just laugh, she dissected. She pointed out the hair comment detours, the sudden accent shifts across interviews, the origin story inflation that critics say moves from prep school polish to from the block performance depending on the audience. Context. Every politician shapes a narrative. Application. When the narrative changes costume mid-scene, the crowd notices. Framing. Authenticity isn't about where you grew up. It's about not pretending your path was something it wasn't. If your brand relies on affectation, it will crack under cross-examination, and the internet is one long cross-examination. Here's where the expectation versus reality theme tightens its knot. Expectation. Crockett as a rising policy force on judiciary, measured, surgical, formidable. Reality. Per Gutfeld and Kelly, a clapback congresswoman, optimized for viral moments, committee hearings that become TikTok theater, monologues that crescendo into applause lines, and Q backslash and A that morphs into Q and me. Context. You can do performance and policy. We've seen it done. Application. But it requires that the camera be a tool, not the goal. Framing. Governance is boring on purpose. It's amendments, markups, whip counts. If your superpower is keeping the spotlight on you long enough, the numbers will expose you. You can't filibuster a spreadsheet. Pattern interrupt, humor but pointed. Watching Crockett hold people accountable, as Gutfeld put it, sometimes looks like trying to mop the ocean. Big motions, bigger claims, puddles everywhere. And then the callback. Remember that promise that we'd come back to the difference between attention and respect? Here we are. Attention is a spark. Respect is the flame that stays when the spark dies. Crockett has the first in abundance. Gutfeld and Kelly are arguing she's running a deficit on the second. Let's be fair and finish the loop on the defense. After the governor nickname blew up, Crockett tried to clarify. It was about policy, not disability. After the Donald's comment resurfaced, allies said the context was larger than a single sentence. After the throw hands bravado, fans framed it as metaphor, not menace. Context matters. But here's the application you can't dodge. When the pattern repeats, personal swipes, performance heat, clean up later, the framing writes itself. If every week requires an explanation, maybe the problem isn't the audience. Maybe it's the script, another open loop. Almost done, but not yet. The background check that Kelly waved through. Critics online say Crockett's bio doesn't match the posture. Claims of elite schooling framed as from the struggle, accent modulation that tracks with platform, a righteous indignation gear that flips on the moment the interviewer asks about results. Context. Every rising figure faces opposition research. Some of it is fair, some of it is cheap. Application. The cleanest defense is receipts, bills written, coalitions built, outcomes delivered. Framing.